It's 2024 already. I'm looking at the calendar, but I still feel like I'm stuck in 2019. For today's video, I'm just gonna show you guys a quick run through of what I've done in terms of art in 2023. Anyway, let's get started. So in January last year, I did draw some portraits of my coworkers, but I'm not gonna show them on screen because of privacy reasons. I don't want to show their faces on the internet. That, some people don't necessarily want to show their faces. So I hope you guys are enjoying the replacement image on the screen. Sometime in February, I drew this portrait of Irene from Red Velvet. The reference is from their music video Bad Boy. If you haven't checked them out, please do. They are an amazing group. And here is the first iteration of this portrait. As you can see, I think there was a big improvement because I did post the portrait on Reddit and I got absolutely roasted. But I did get some pointers and I think that was really helpful in making the piece look better. This also got me accused of using AI, so here is a short speed paint of the portrait. It's crazy how artists nowadays have to play this game of Among Us and suss out who drew the pieces themselves, and it's all because of AI generators and all that, which is sad to see, but it's also understandable. February was also the month where I started my Instagram page. Anyway, here it is. Plug over. Let's move on to March. In March, there was a very popular artist that started a Draw This in Your Style challenge, and you might probably know who it is. It's Sam Does Arts. So what you see on the screen is my submission, and when I was looking through the submissions and the hashtag, oh my goodness, all the submissions just kind of blew me away. And here's the next piece. It's a portrait of Hinata from XG. I think it's from their Left Right music video. If you want to, another amazing vocal group if you guys want to check them out. Looking at this piece right now, I think one of the things I want to focus on this year in terms of art and practice is making sure the resemblance is accurate. Because, for this piece, I was going for this, but now the results looking at it, it just kind of looks like female Peter Pettigrew from Harry Potter. Next, I drew Noze, who is a dancer from South Korea and also featured in Jay Park's Need to Know music video. Check them both out if you want to. I know I'm giving out a lot of song recommendations in this video, but I truly believe that those are great songs and these are great artists as well. This is also my current profile picture because I think this is the best piece I've done so far. And to finish off March, I participated in another Draw This in Your Style challenge, this time for Regard Noir. I thought her OC looked pretty cool, so I decided to jump in on it. Not really sure what I was going for here, but this is my submission for it. Check out her Instagram over here. I'll put the handle up on the screen. She also gives out art tips, so if you want those, she's a great person to follow. To start off April, I was listening to Beyonce's Naughty Girl. For some reason, I was obsessed with it. So in the spirit of, the song, I created this piece. Honestly, I think I was trying to go for a sexy person coming out of the water, kind of like one of those mythological creatures. But, I don't think it came out all that great. I mean, look at the anatomy. Look at the hand. What is this? I didn't do too much drawing in April, so in May I decided to redraw a piece I did in the previous year just to kind of see where my skills are. So I present to you, don't be scared now, the first ever digital piece I made. Jesus Christ. So I listed down a number of things that I wanted to improve from this drawing, which is basically not tracing over the reference and of course better colors. And after a year of self-studying, here is the result of the redraw. This is a portrait of Taeyeon from Girls' Generation, another great group. This is from the music video I Envy You. Check it out if you want to. As you can see, the difference is pretty much night and day. I think this was also the month where I decided to try out Twitter, and if you guys remember this trend, I also participated in it. And here are some of the OCs I drew. I think my favorite one is this one. Pretty cool OC, I think. If you want to check them out, I'll put their handle over here. And if you guys know anything about the month of May, May 4 is a big event for Star Wars fans, so I made this fan art of Ahsoka. Looking back at it now, I don't think this was a great piece at all. I mean, look at the pose, look at the background, it's just everything is just clashing. I also created this fan art of Jaina Proudmoore from the Warcraft universe, if any of you guys have ever played the game. I think this turned out okay, except for the water elemental, it just kinda looks scuffed. And to close off May, I participated in another Draw This in Your Cell challenge, this time for an artist named Dhorn98. I'll put their link over here. I don't know, I just kinda liked the character design and I just kind of wanted to jump into it. And with that, we move to June. Since this was my first year of posting art online, I didn't really know about this fact, but fan arts apparently gain a lot of traction on social media, so I kinda wanted to jump in on that too. Or at least try to. Here's my fan art of Bronya. I have never played Honkai Star Rail, but I thought she just had a pretty cool character design. As you can see, not the best, and I just decided to abandon this drawing halfway through. And if I'm being honest with myself, looking at this piece now, it is a total abomination. I guess I got kind of lazy in June because this is the only piece I could find from that month, so we move on to July. I think July is kind of the month where I wanted to step things up a bit in terms of my art, so I wanted to create more dynamic poses and draw backgrounds as well. So with that mindset, I made this piece, and again, if I'm being honest with myself, I think the character looked okay, not anatomically correct, it wasn't the best, but I think it turned out fine, but the background could have been a lot better. And now for my biggest success of the year, the next piece, I drew Keyleth from Critical Role's Vox Machina. Now for me personally, I think the piece turned out really well. I think it was my greatest piece at the moment. So much so that I actually submitted this to the fan art submissions page, and it actually got featured. Now, I'm not sure about the other artists that got featured on the fan art of the week, but I didn't get an email or a notification from Critical Role that they were gonna feature my art. But you know what? A win is a win and I'm happy. Also, I only found out like a couple months later that it was featured, so whatever. But this time, I also decided that Twitter isn't that great of a platform and decided to stop posting there altogether. And you know, it's a different topic on itself. Maybe I'll make a video about it. But yeah, I just stopped using Twitter altogether. I'm just there for the drama now. Anyway, now we move on to August, and during the first few weeks of August, I decided to try something new, which is to draw a portrait of a man. And here you go. The reference I used is of the most handsome man in Dubai or somewhere along those lines. Apparently he got kicked out of a festival for being too handsome. Do with that info as you will. I personally think this turned out okay, not anatomically correct compared to the reference, but I think it turned out fine. Also, as a self-proclaimed gamer, a game came out for this year, also one of the biggest scams of the year in my opinion, and that was Diablo 4. Now, to be absolutely fair, I think the first few hours of the game were great, but just the latter half, or like midway through, I just started to get tired of it. In my personal opinion, and I think a lot of people think the same way as well, there were just too many inconveniences for the players, which is why I made this piece. It's an amalgamation of all the frustrations I felt for Diablo 4, what could have been, and you know, just hoping that things get better in the future. So if any of you have played Diablo 4 and are still playing it today, let me know in the comments below if it's worth going back to, and, most importantly, if they've removed the fucking roadblocks. Moving on to September, which was an amazing month by the way, I got a lot of inspiration. I didn't make anything, and that's because when I tell you this game is amazing, believe me, it is amazing. And to commemorate and appreciate Larian Studios for giving us such an amazing game for the year, at the beginning of October, I drew this fan art of God's favorite princess, Shadowheart, which personally is one of my favorite pieces for the year. I think it turned out very well. I also posted this on Tumblr to try out, Tumblr as a platform. I also did that for my Critical Role fan art of Keyleth, just putting that out there. At the tail end of October, I also drew fan favorite Karlach. personally, I don't think this turned out all that great, but I think it was decent. Like, not too bad, not too good. It was just okay. So by the end of October, I didn't really draw a horror piece, so I decided, you know what, I'll start November with a horror piece, and here you go, my horror piece. This is one of my favorite pieces of the year, and it was also the catalyst for learning how to draw hands. I mean, look at the hands. Look at them. It's just horrific. But, of course, I put off learning how to draw hand anatomy and waited for around a month. Around this time too, I posted a couple of my reels to YouTube from Instagram over to YouTube, and those got a bit of traction, and I also decided to start doing shorts. I also decided to publish this extremely embarrassing video of a Filipino monster and my rendition of it. I'll be honest, it didn't do too hot. By the time this video releases, I'll probably private it, maybe not, I don't know. If you want, go watch it if it's still up there. By the end of November, another favorite artist of mine, who goes by the name of Zed, released a Draw This in Your Style challenge. So, being one of my favorite artists, I absolutely had to join in on it. And here is my submission. I think it was one of my best works so far for the year, but this was also the straw that broke my back. I was kind of going for like an airbender pose, but when I looked at it, it was just too stiff. The pose, the gesture, everything. So I decided that, you know what, enough is enough, I'm gonna learn anatomy. And I mentioned this before, by that time I had already been watching Mark Burnett's videos. And if you guys have been watching my shorts, you'll know him as the guy who created the Learn Anatomy in 7 Days challenge. And I decided to start things off with the hands while documenting my progress and showing it on YouTube. So for most, if not all of December, I was just basically focusing on anatomy, starting with the hands, then the feet, then the legs, then the arms. Still working on the torso and the face, but I did create one piece for December, and it was this one. It was basically just a reference practice, but I think I did better with the hands compared to my first piece all the way back in February or March. I mean this piece. Anyway, that was my personal 2023 art journey review. If you guys made it this far into the video, thank you very much for sticking around. If you somehow managed to skip to this part of the video, hey, how's it going? Let me know if you guys like these types of videos, and if you want different types of content as well, such as story time or drama coverage. This will help me out identify what you as a viewer would want from me. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this video, and remember,
tough time never lasts. Only tough people last.